95.3 FM, KQKI. Good morning. It is Brady Burrell. It's 17 minutes to the hour of 11 o'clock. And with me right now, I've got Brian Protich joining me. We do have the latest advisory as of 10 a.m. this morning. Right now, sustained winds are still at 90 miles per hour, which of course is very good news. It has not strengthened as they expected. Brian, what are you seeing in this update?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like this is most probably going to come in as a Category 1, Brady, because it is fighting off some of the elements that the shear that is coming from west to east. This is all kind of playing into the fact that we'll probably see a Category 1 coming in. Now, just because it's not a Category 2 and it's going to be a Category 1, don't believe for 1 second that this cannot cause damage, because we're going to probably see widespread power outages throughout the area coming up. And Brady, power, everyone loves power. And unfortunately, it looks like that we'll probably lose that at some point as this storm gets closer to us.
Absolutely, and we can expect extended power outages at this
Yes.
point when you've got 90 to 100 miles per hour. I mean, basically, they are expecting gust up to about 90, 91 around 6 p.m. in the Morgan City area. But, you and I were just talking off the air
Yeah.
about this storm. It's a little bit different. We usually
Yeah.
want to concentrate on that east end, but I do
Right.
have that radar right up from windy.com. Explain to us what you're seeing on the west side of it.
Yeah, you can see a lot of thunderstorms and just a lot of bad weather that's on the northwest side of it. Now, remember, this storm's going to be coming in from the west. We usually see storms coming in from the east, right? Not with this one. It's going west to east or northeast right now. I think. Can you give me the movement on it, Brady? I think it's 12, 13 miles per hour.
Correct.
So we are seeing really on the western side and the northwestern side that eye wall. You can see that, and that's going to affect St. Mary Parish. And the reason that I'm saying that is because a lot of people, I think we get in our heads that the northeastern side is the worst side of the storm. So if you're off toward, let's say, towards Franklin, New Iberia, those areas, you're going to get some weather out of this if it holds like it's doing right now, because that northwest and that western side of this eye, or the eye wall, is pretty bad right now. We've seen actually a sustained wind from a buoy at 83 miles per hour with gust up to 101. So that kind of gives you an idea of what this storm is putting out right now. Now, the interesting thing about this eye, it's 60 or 70 miles, Brady.
Wow.
That's what the National Hurricane Center is reporting. So I don't think we're going to have to worry about any type of rapid intensification, because it is, going into. I don't want to downplay it either, because it's still going to be a hurricane when it comes in. I just don't believe that we're going to have to worry about anything like rapid intensification and it's strengthening as it comes on shore into St. Mary Parish. If anything, it may go down a little bit, but not enough to let your guard down. Just want to say that right
Right.
now. It's still going to be what it is, and that's a hurricane coming into the parish. I think the last time we took a direct hit, I may be wrong on that. I know we were talking earlier about that. May have been Lily back in 2002 was the direct hit. I know we had, some things occur in the parish from Gustav a few years ago,
Sure.
but that may have been the last time we've taken a direct hit. Could be wrong on that. I haven't looked it up, but I'm just trying to go off of memory right now. And the
Yeah.
older we get, right?
Correct. And look, we've had so many close calls since Lily. You've had, Rita, Katrina, Ike, Gustav, let's see, Laura, Delta, Ida. We've been basically right in the middle. And I remember, I believe it was Laura. I'm not going to name the official, but there was a public official in the parish I was speaking to right when they started maybe looking at pointing Laura towards us, maybe making landfall in St. Mary Parish. It was either that one or Ida. And he said, this one's ours. And
Yeah,
Laura went to our west. Delta went to our west, and Lake Charles.
right,
As a matter of fact, they're now calling Lake Charles the most weather battered city in the United States. And just
right.
Saturday, they had to implode the old Capital One tower that I've seen numerous times. I've got family and friends in Lake Charles, but because it was just a sign of what they've gone through. Not to mention flooding and a terrible ice storm just a few months after Laura and
Right.
Delta. And then you've got Ida just 20, 25 miles to our east. That could have been ours. So you're right. By Rita and Ike. Look what Rita and Ike did to the west end of the parish with that storm surge.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they formed the St. Mary Levee District, and they've done such a great job. Them and the port. We now have the Bayou Chene floodgate that was closed, I believe, late yesterday morning or just afternoon, and it protects like 7 parishes. So St. Mary is in such much better position than we were even 5 years ago. You think Barry and Delta, we had some backwater flooding. One of the trigger areas was in the area of Meadow Shark and Seacraft, right there on 90 in Franklin. But they've been able to install some levees or
I think
floodgates.
don't they have sandbag or they sandbag that area?
They do, and they've used
Trying to
HESCO
remember.
baskets in the
Okay.
past. But yeah, I spoke to Mike Bracata, the operations manager of the Levee District, earlier in the week, and they've closed that up. That was a major concern. Because that could send backwater flooding into Franklin itself, and then of course onto 90. And so thankfully, I think we're in such better condition than we are. If you are
Yeah.
in New Iberia, or in Iberia Parish, should I say, of course, they're very concerned about Highway 14, any area south of 90. They unfortunately don't have the protection that we do in St. Mary. And
Right. I mean, you look at Erath, Delcom, those areas.
sure,
They're very vulnerable.
right. They really are. And if you travel down there, and I've gone down there several times, especially since Rita and Ike, I mean, a lot of buildings, houses, they're now built up. They were able to get those grants through FEMA or the federal government to build up their houses. And but we are fortunate. We do have that protection. Um, Brian, I do want to go up to Assumption Parish to our northeast.
Yes.
I just spoke to Lonnie Cavalier again. Of course, we interviewed him a few moments ago, but he did update me to let me know they do not have a curfew in Assumption Parish.
Okay.
Sandbagging operations at the Ag Center, I believe that's on Highway 308, that has briefly stopped. They don't want anybody out on the roads. However,
Right.
if there is a need for sandbags after the storm passes, they will be available there at the Ag Center. They just don't want anyone out and about in this weather, unless you
Oh,
absolutely have to.
absolutely. Conditions are going to continue to deteriorate from this point on, really, Brady, as
Right.
this storm approaches us.
Sure.
And that eye is kind of expanded a little bit. It's been stretched, and it's because of those westerly winds that are coming from the west. That wind shear, so to say, that's to our north. They are beginning to affect it. Now, what this could do is actually, believe it or not, raise the storm surge a little bit. As that eye wall expands, it pushes outward, and you could see that storm surge actually come up. Right now, expected 5 to 10 feet, and that's above where you're standing.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 to 10 feet above ground.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
and like you said earlier, and I don't want to scare anyone
Sure.
by saying that,
Right.
because we are protected in this area, and the St. Mary or the Levee District has done a fantastic job over the past few years. I think you remember, was it Ike
I believe
and
so. Yeah.
Rita that water was pushed all the way up to 90
Correct.
and
Yeah.
coming over 90? Well, from my recollection,
Yeah.
anyway, recent,
Yeah.
we haven't seen that with storms.
Exactly.
So, and it's because they have fixed a lot of those issues
Right.
that occurred. So, hats off to those
Yes,
people.
they really have. The Levee District, just to name a few. Of course, the president of the Levee District, Mr. Bill Hidalgo, Tim Mott, the former mayor of Morgan City, he is
Yeah.
the executive director. Mike Bricado, he is the operations manager. So, as you said, hats off to them. And again, we don't want to scare anybody, but we don't want you to let your guard out down either, because we've
Right.
seen issues back in, I believe it was 2001. You had a slow-moving tropical storm, Allison, that just dumped like 20 inches of rain. Mainly in the Houston area, but we had a lot of flooding north of the tracks, or excuse me, south of the tracks in Patterson, and but sometimes these we don't want to take these smaller storms for granted and get hung up on
No.
Cat 1, Cat 2, tropical
Right.
depression, tropical storm. You just don't know the benefit of this. It is moving at 13 miles per hour. So
Exactly.
it's moving at a pretty good clip, and they're expecting it to move out pretty quickly. And I would assume that the worst conditions probably 4, 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then I'm
Yeah.
sorry, 6 o'clock, and then around 9 o'clock, I believe the rain chances would start decreasing, and I think that we would start seeing some improvements right around 9 or 10 o'clock if that
Yeah,
forecast holds.
you'll get a little bit of a lull with that eye.
Sure.
It'll be a little while because it is so big. But you remember, that's not the end of the storm. You're going to
Right.
have to deal with that southern portion of the storm.
Correct. We are receiving more information now from the National Weather Service and St. Mary Parish Homeland Security. They're saying Francine is a Category 1 hurricane moving to the northeast and slowly increasing in forward speed, which is very good news.
Very good.
Landfall is expected around late afternoon or early evening. They've been saying between Franklin and Morgan City, perhaps around Centerville. Conditions will deteriorate, as Brian said, throughout the day today, with the worst conditions this evening and through the first part of tonight. Impacts from Francine will include moderate to life-threatening coastal flooding, damaging winds, heavy rain, and a few tornadoes beginning early today through Thursday morning. So be on the lookout for that. Just hunker down. Don't forget, there are curfews in Berwick and Morgan City that get underway in 5 minutes from now. It's 10:55 a.m. At 11 a.m., those curfews go into effect and will remain in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I know officials were meeting at 10:15 this morning. I was not able to attend that briefing, but they will let us know if there is an update. I will actually be in Morgan City later this afternoon, reporting live from there, and want to thank the Morgan City Police Department for hosting us. So we will be bringing you live updates with live video, live pictures from Morgan City itself. And so thanks to Morgan City Police Department again for their protection and being able to work with them. And Brian, on the lighter side, I have to say this. We've got this celebrity guy in town that everybody looks for, and unfortunately, when he shows up, it's not always good. But so many people in town have made a big ordeal out of Jim Cantori, right?
That's right. And don't forget, too, we have Mike Seidel that's
He
in
is.
town as well.
Yeah.
He's now with Fox Weather.
He sure is.
So we've got probably the two best known meteorologists in the United States
Yep.
that are in Morgan City right now.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing, because
Yeah.
usually when they're here,
Right.
that's that's what you don't want. But,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice to have them here, and we
Definitely.
welcome them.
I honestly did not know that Mike Seidel had left the Weather Channel, because he was in the Weather Channel for years. As a matter of fact,
Oh, yeah.
Brian, you and I got to interview him. I think it was a Tropical Storm Bill or something like that on the riverfront years ago. And we got to interview him. And of course, we'd watch him. And then from time to time, Stephanie Abrams, Jim Cantori would show up. But I mean, Jim has not come to Morgan City in a very long time, from what I can remember. And so my daughter, I mean, he's a larger than life figure, okay? And, because of what we
Yeah.
do, we don't really get starstruck. But my 11-year-old daughter, Alyssa, did want to go see him yesterday afternoon. So he was reporting on the flood wall.
Oh,
And you there, Brian?
yeah, I just the lights just blinked.
Oh,
so
okay. Okay.
If you happen to lose me, and looking out of my window here, Brady,
Mhm.
it's the winds are kind of picking up a little bit as
Yes,
those
they are.
rain bands
Right.
continue to feed in. We're looking at what, 17 gusts to 25. So what's it, about 15 knots? Let me convert that in my head. Yeah, that would be 17 miles per hour. So,
Sure. Yep.
uh, yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
it's like we said, the
Yep.
conditions will worsen
Right.
as, you know, every 30 minutes pass,
Yeah, they
every
did.
hour passes. And it's just something that hopefully you have prepared and you have come to completion on all of your preparations, because it's going to be dangerous out there for you to do anything from
Right.
this point on.
Absolutely. Expect tropical storm force winds right around noon or around 1 o'clock to begin.
Yes.
So, as they said, it will deteriorate. But of course, we were talking about Mike Seidel. And so I brought my daughter out there to the flood wall on Morgan City Riverfront yesterday afternoon. And they did have a crowd and watching him. And he was doing a live shot there. He interviewed Morgan City Police Chief Chad Adams. And I didn't realize that Mike Seidel started talking. I'm like, oh, there's Mike. I was wondering where he was. And he
Yeah.
actually started asking us about facts. He saw the KQKI logo on my shirt, and we started talking. And he actually remembered a lot of facts about the Morgan City flood wall. And he said, "What is
Yeah.
it? 23 feet?" He said, "Wasn't there a shorter one?" He said, "There's a town around here. It starts with a B." I said, "Yeah, it's Berwick, right across the river, right there." And he said, "Wasn't there a shorter one that they raised this one?" I said, "He said maybe in the 90s." I said, "That was in the 80s." I said, "I watched it being built while I was in Berwick Elementary School." And so it's amazing how many facts they actually remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do have two of the best, Jim Cantori and Mike Seidel here in town. And but folks, don't go out and see them. it just
Right. Exactly.
hopefully you were able to do that yesterday. But Jim made his rounds to Sweet and Simple, and he went to Southern Roots. Supposedly got a haircut. I don't think he needed it. But yes, indeed. But I do want to thank Belinda Mack sending us a message, complimenting us and
Yeah.
telling us
Thank you,
we're
B.
awesome. We do believe we do appreciate it. Hopefully you're hunkering
I
down.
thought Brady was
Hopefully,
going to say we do believe we're awesome.
I was trying to say I do hope that Belinda's okay, but. I would like to believe we're awesome, but we don't tell
Right.
ourselves that. We just
That's right.
we stay humble and do the very best we can. So
Absolutely.
getting some
Let's just we'll get through this together.
yes, indeed.
And that hopefully that forward speed continues to pick up, and this pushes on out
Yep.
toward the northeast,
Yep.
even faster than 13 miles
Right,
per hour. So,
absolutely. Just getting some information, Brian, that the city of Jeanerette will follow the Iberia Parish curfew. There is a curfew in Iberia Parish, including the city of Jeanerette, beginning at 11 o'clock, which is exactly straight
Is
up.
now.
Yep.
Yep.
So Jeanerette and Iberia Parish are now under a curfew until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then you do have Berwick and Morgan City officially under that curfew now until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So no one should be out on the road unless you're a first responder. And so we're asking that everyone just stay safe. Don't forget there's no school in St. Mary Parish or Assumption Parish tomorrow as well. So there you have it.
absolutely. You may have already mentioned it, Brady. I'm kind of looking at a few things, just like you, looking at things as you talk. You're probably looking at things as I talk.
Sure.
Morgan City, that curfew is in effect now, correct?
Correct.
Morgan City and Berwick? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure I was getting a message there.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Yep. And of course, Belinda, we're proud to be working with you as well, and we're
yeah,
happy to hear that
absolutely.
you're okay and in Bell River over there. And so thanks to everyone. I mean, clients and people out of town who have texted or inquired to make sure we're okay. And we really appreciate all the support of the community. And that's what we're here to do, to serve you, bring the information to you. And
Absolutely. And I want to mention to everyone too, because we have made some preparations, of course, should the conditions will worsen, and we're not sure if the station itself will be able to stay on the air. But you can listen online, so make sure that you download our apps for iPhone, iPad, as well as Android. We may be down briefly as we switch power, but hope to bring all of that up relatively quick, Brady.
absolutely. If you're watching us online right now, you can see the image of our app. Download it for Android, iPhone, iPad, as Brian said. Uh, You can listen to KQKI even if the station itself goes off the air.
Yeah.
If you cannot listen on what we call terrestrial radio on FM, you can listen online. We'll stay online. We can still break in just like we are now. There is that category. Thank you, Brian, for all your hard work that you've done on our app.
Yeah.
Right at there, the top left-hand corner, Hurricane Francine. If you tap that, you'll see all the latest information on Hurricane Francine right there. Of course, enable your notifications on our app. That way we can send you real-time notifications on any late-breaking news. You can see that. So everything you need right there on our app. Also, right now you're also seeing kqkinews.com. We're posting information there as well. You can listen to us, everything, kqki.com, kqki.live. Of course, we're bringing you live video and radio updates. We're simulcasting on the radio station and on our video network as we break in. And then, of course, I'll be coming to you live this afternoon from Morgan City. I'll be embedded with the Morgan City Police Department. So pretty excited about that, B. I really am. So,
Yeah, I know you are. I'm surprised you haven't gotten one of them vehicles that I saw yesterday with the storm chaser.
right?
And had all the wrap on it and such, and the little wind vane.
Sure. There you go. There you go.
Anemometer. There we
Yes.
go.
And speaking of, you mentioned that Charles Peak from the Weather Channel is also in Morgan City right now.
That may have been Charles that I saw then.
You may have.
It doesn't, yeah, because he's got a vehicle
Yes, he does.
where he goes out and does that.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, anyway.
Yeah. So it
But,
could.
yeah.
He is in town. So when Charles is around, there's weather. So
Yeah.
when Jim, Mike, and Charles show up, there's some significant weather in the area.
Absolutely. And I want to say hello to Bob as well. You know Bob, right? Your
Barometer
mom was
Bob?
asking about Barometer Bob. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, because it's been so many years since Bob and I used to do a lot of weather things together, and actually won an award from the National Hurricanes National Conference. So that was pretty good. What, about 15 years ago or so?
Wow.
Probably even longer than that.
That's
It may
cool.
have even been 20 years ago
Right.
or so. So
Yep.
that was pretty interesting,
Yeah.
Brady.
That is awesome.
So just want to say hello to him as well.
Hello, Bob. And ironically, yes, I was visiting with my parents, I believe, over the weekend or maybe Friday, and we were talking about times past. And my mom remembered Barometer Bob by the name. And you and I had covered a storm. I think it was like Tropical Storm Bill. This would have been 22, 23 years ago, 21 years ago or so. And that's when Mike Seidel was on the riverfront and we interviewed him. And you were getting information from Barometer
Yeah.
Bob. And of course,
That's right.
technology has come such a long ways. Who would have thought we'd be
It has.
we'd be
Yeah.
doing what we're doing right now? And so, folks, stay tuned, hunker down. Reminder: Patterson is not under a curfew. The only areas right now in St. Mary are Berwick and Morgan City, and then to our west, Jeanerette. Again, no curfew in Assumption. Sandbag operations have stopped for the time being. However, if there are needs for sandbags in Assumption Parish, those will be available once the storm passes in the Ag Center. And then, Brian, I want you to repeat what you said because there's a reason why they stopped the operations. It's because they don't want people driving around. And as you mentioned a while ago, I want you to repeat that. Please don't let your guard down when the eye comes through, because you can think
Yeah.
it's over, but you still got a lot of weather coming through. Repeat what you said, please.
Right. Well, a lot of people will go out and, because it's calm, but that doesn't mean the storm's over. And look, it's okay to go out and check on things
Sure.
when you're in the eye, but you have to remember that you're going to get the backside of that storm, and it's going to happen. I would say maybe within an hour or so.
Sure.
This one's so big, 70. It's kind of elongated, stretched out west to east. I don't think from north to south it is, 70 or 60 or 70 miles. But just be aware of that, because the wind's going to come from the opposite direction.
Emily, I do want to address, you asked how am I able to travel into Morgan City. I do have special clearance with the Morgan City Police
Yeah.
Department and Homeland Security. That's the only way. That's the only way. But that's why
Right.
I will be with them, only because I'm with the Morgan City Police Department. Not that I'm
Yeah,
driving
we
around.
we have right.
Yeah,
You have permission to do
yeah,
that. And,
yeah, exactly.
look, folks, it if you don't have to be on the roads, don't go on the roads. And as Brady had mentioned, those curfews or that yeah, those curfews are in effect for Berwick, Morgan City. I think you said Iberia Parish as well.
Right.
So you know you're going to get stopped
Sure.
if they see you. So
Right. Yeah. And of course, I'm going to take my own personal safety into mind. If it's not safe for me to
right,
drive, I'm not doing it. Okay. So I'm going to
right.
practice what I preach. But once I'm with the police department, I'm not driving around. I'm with them, and that's the only reason. Trust me, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
driving around town. I wouldn't do that. We practice what we preach. Personal
Well,
safety first.
we'll begin to see another band coming into our area. Those outer bands are starting to affect us now. So with that, you'll see some gusty winds
Right.
with those bands. And folks, it's just the beginning of what's going to worsen throughout the afternoon on into early evening
Right.
here in St. Mary Parish. Our friends over in Terrebonne Parish as well, and Iberia Assumption Parish. All of you, it's just downhill from here.
Yep. Beth says they are hunkered down in Pierre Part. And Donnell says Patterson's still raining, a little wind. And we want to thank everyone who's given us the kudos, all of the support. We really do. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And we'll be keeping you updated here on KQKI Radio, as well as the KQKI Digital Video Network as the day goes on. And then, of course, I'll be bringing you live information from Morgan City. And, of course, I'll be also able to check in with Brian as well on the Digital Video Network and on KQKI. So we appreciate it. I want to say hello to Eloise. She's sending me a message now. Currently, Eloise, I don't have anything in particular from Franklin. We have not, I was not able to, because of the weather, I did not travel out. One of the reasons into one of the briefings in Franklin or Morgan City. But I can tell you that the National Guard is stationed at the Morgan City
Yes.
Auditorium with high water vehicles.
Yeah.
If need be. So we can tell you the National Guard is stationed, but we don't have anything in particular in the Franklin area, but we do intend to check in with our officials as soon as we can in different areas of the parish.
That's right.
And we appreciate your support as well, Eloise. So, Brian, I think that's all we have for now, unless you've
Yeah.
got something.
No, I think we're all good. We'll go ahead and sum up real quick with the location. Maximum sustained winds 90 miles per hour. This will come in as a category 1 just because it's not going to be a category 2. Look, the difference between what 90 and 100 or 105 isn't much.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have wind gusts in the area that could approach 100 miles per hour. So definitely want to not let your guard down, as we had said earlier. This is moving to the northeast at 13 miles per hour. It is 150 miles now southwest of Morgan City. So everyone stay safe out there.
Yes, please do. And want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll keep you updated here on 95.3 FM KQKI, as well as KQKInews.com, the KQKI smartphone app. Anywhere you are, we're there as well, right, Brian?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So we'll come
You
back.
more so than me lately, though.
I'm just everywhere. You call me the octopus for a reason, right?
You are, yeah.
Yes,
Every
indeed.
time I turn around, you're somewhere. I'm getting
Yep.
an alert that we're going live. And I'm like, well, wait a second. I thought he was on vacation. No.
One day I'll clone myself. I keep saying we'll do it. So I'm all
That's
over the
right.
place. So we'll keep you updated, folks, here on KQKI 95.3 FM and on the KQKI Digital Video Network. I'm Brady Burrell, along with,
Brian Prodich.
for your local news leader, KQKI.